Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our panelists for this session today. I understand that it's evening and everyone is super tired with back-to-back session. We'll try to make it as engaging and crisp as possible. Welcome to a very interesting panel discussion on next phase of digital transformation with the power of analytics, AI, and ML. Well, we all are talking about digital transformation since especially since last 2 to 3 years in a very extensive manner. Especially in the light of COVID, we have seen how technology turned out to be a great enabler, helping us achieve some exceptional outcomes. And most of the technology leaders like you, they have been the torchbearer and helping different industry to really transform and make a huge impact. By automating business processes, rise of businesses which are fully digital and change in customer experiences, we all have witnessed, some of these things in a very massive manner. It also means use of cloud adoption, mobile apps, rise of API economy, IIoT and automation increasing at a pace we have never heard before. Well, the question is, as part of the blueprint strategy, what next for the maturity of digital for businesses? And secondly, how to address the cultural shift for employees and customers. To get deeper insights in a quick 30-minute session, we have Mr. Anand Hadgaonkar, CIO Asia, Whirlpool Corporation, Mr. Avudut Chandrakant Parab, CIO Parle Agro, Mr. Debanjan Banerjee, CIO Pernod Ricard India, Mr. Dhaval Vinod Pandya, Corporate CIO Piramal Enterprises, Mr. Gyan Shankar Pandey, Head Digital and CDO Voltas, and from our partner side we have Vandana Tana, Regional Head Freshworks. Hi. A very warm welcome to all of you. So, sir, I would start with Mr. Debanjan to have his perspective on how, as a business and technology leader, how are you seeing the shift, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, and how have you managed the employee and partner experience with some of the core challenges related to transformation?
We had the entire organization available during COVID time. I think we have a lot of technology discussions in these days, but I think the first premise that we need to take a step back is to figure out where does the organization need to go and why are we doing this. Often these questions are overlooked in the interest of driving technology transformation. Key aspect is what is the business outcome, and we heard it yesterday when Sanjeev spoke about it, and etc. That what is the reason, where is the organization heading to, and what are the key capabilities you need to enable. For that, what is the tech stack and technology enablers that you need to get. So for us, we had identified certain stuff because we have 30 manufacturing plants in India. So how do we sweat your assets more? It was one capability we wanted to understand, for which we had those areas around IoT and other spaces enabled, etc. Being in alcohol industry, we are subject to a lot of regulations, and every state is like a country for us. So understanding the market demand and responding to the market demand in a more predictable manner, which is demand sensing and thereafter supplying end to end. That requires an end-to-end integrated planning capability, and that is what we brought to life during this whole last 2.5 years. So likewise, there were a few other stuff, including the revamp of our entire data stack. We were on a very monolithic architecture, which was a golden standard 10 years back. We needed to democratize analytics so that citizen analytics could take shape. You could do advanced use cases. So we moved away from, I'll not say any technology is bad, but from an earlier stack that we were using on ClickSense, traditional data warehouse, Informatica, to a more agile, responsive, scalable Azure stack end to end, and did many use cases, including advanced analytics on predictive kind of areas, especially from the front office. So primarily, I'll say that we were clear on where we needed to go, hence we were able to accelerate. But the key component that has been there open-ended for a long time is how do you upskill your organization? How do you continue to have them within the organization? And we have seen this churn in last 2.5 years, bothering us. Especially how do you ensure it's not about usage of technology, but using technology to drive better actions and decisions. And I think I'll pause there because that is where we are having an open-ended question for us as well, which we are trying to discover.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Dhavalji, with respect to, we are talking about the customer experience, the change in strategy. What are some of the unique things which you have witnessed, especially in this transformation era? And with a lot of tools and processes, automation has come into picture. What are some of the innovations that you, in your organization, you have done?
Thanks a lot. So we at Piramal are a conglomerate of three main entities. We are into pharma, financial services, and realty. Pharma in itself has three businesses, so with realty, and then, so is financial services, and then with realty. And the transformational capabilities required for each of the businesses are obviously very, very different by virtue of the customer base that they serve or the consumer base that they serve, and with regards to the domain that they are present in. We recently embarked upon a digital transformation roadmap for our pharma business. And clearly we saw value in investing in two levers, one being analytics and the other being hyper automation. And when we are talking about analytics, we clearly wanted to move away from the descriptive or the diagnostic analytics and invest more into the prescriptive and the predictive aspects of it. That's where that entire thought around having one data store or one single version of data, or like they say, the golden master for data, and what he also referred to, we paved back to say that, okay, let us look at the information architecture very clearly and very differently. Let us invest in capabilities which can be leveraged across the board. While the reporting or the analytical requirements can be business centric, but at least from a directional perspective, we wanted to invest in solution stack which can serve multiple entities and at the same time provide the scalability and the flexibility. So the idea was that how can we build insights into the processes? That's what we wanted to invest in. For example, when a salesperson is having a conversation with his customer, rather than having conversations around, for example, what the order history has been, what the transaction volume has been, what the last complaints have been, what the settlement has been for his rebates, etc., we wanted to make it more engaging to, for example, move the entire conversation to value based. So what does, for example, a customer see value in? He would see value in, say, promotional schemes that are running. And he would want to know as to how he's performing against the schemes that are running, and how can he, invest in the right type of product so that he can make the most of it. At the same time, for example, if he's facing certain logistical issues, how can those be relieved? For example, we have a TAT to deliver to the customer. How much are we compliant to it? What are the contributing factors? What are the decontributing factors? And how can those be changed? And then the second aspect clearly was around hyper automation, which we saw it in largely in operational and non-operational. And the operational ones had to be investing into capabilities like, say, IoT, Industry 4.0, or making, connected machines and smart machines. Basically decentralization using, again, data as the lever. And the second part is the non-operational part, where we wanted to invest into, say, intelligent process automation using RPAs and things like those, where a lot of redundant and repeatable work goes away, and you free up the bandwidth to do something more intelligent. So it's more involvement by exception than by a rule.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you very much. In fact, RPA, I've been interacting with most of the leaders. The initial few years, there was a lot of experimentation, a lot of failures also. I know one of the CIO who said he spent millions in RPA in one of the consulting firm, but things just did not materialize. It was probably 5 years, 5 to 6 years back. But anyways, Sir Avdotji, I would like to move forward and would like to understand what exactly has changed about companies' efforts to transform business models and digital platforms, especially in the last few years. And how do you see the leadership and how much it matters? How do you see the overall leadership now focusing toward the future, and how much it actually matters in the digital transformation?
Anyway, good evening, everyone. Leadership today are naturally inclined towards what is hidden in the data. And that's something which everyone has realized that one needs to go there. But it just can't be in a very haphazard manner. And just to reiterate, Parle Agro is in the business of water, beverage, and dairy. And we are more of a research-based manufacturing and distribution company. So if that is the structure, then we were very clear in taking the initiative. One is on the growth side and other one on the operation side. So while we were on the growth and operation sides, very clearly we had segregated into three parts, because we need to grow and grow faster. A, innovation; B, transaction; and C, we said it execution, which is more of a manufacturing side. Very clearly, we said wherever there are transactions, we had gone ahead with the RPA side, which is where more on the automation, and that's where efficiency was a priority for us. Execution, we are focused, and it just began, where we want to see whether how the process can be brought more closer to our new emerging technology, could be AI and ML. That's where it's a more of an embedded, and it is not separate analytics and all. Innovation is where the more focus in our organization is going. How can we reduce our go-to-market, new variants, and how here are really a data can be helpful for us. Because every time when we see about launch of the product, can we do better than what we did, what mistakes we did in the 5 launches. So these are some of the areas which we are really focusing on the operation side. On the growth side, we are very clear how do we ensure in an ecosystem approach, taking channel partner, taking the retailers also into account, how do we increase the penetration more and more? And then we are also embarking on a very innovative, channel partner tech platform, so that if we know with the fund or the money which they have they can do X kind of business. Can the rolling of the fund, can it be X plus some more, 10% more, 20% more? So these are some of the areas where we are working with the data, and in all 3 directions: transaction automation, execution. We are bringing emerging technology closer to the process, so that it is just augmenting, and innovation, how we can shorten down the process. We are in FMCGs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'll move to Anand, sir. Sir, I mean, we all have seen the digital services, the acceleration, but still, while in a lot of way, for some organization, digital has really helped, but in some other organization, there's a lot of lag. Consumers are still not able to get the right services at right time. There is the customer feedback is not good. So how in your opinion, what is needed to be done to make digital services more reliable, agile, and available to meet consumer demands? And how do you make digital technology scalable and ensure that the future technology investments are aligned with the business demands?
I think the basic thing that comes in is around the use cases. Because many a times what we have seen is that in anticipation, there are a lot of investment that go in and does not really cater to the actual need of the consumers. And that's where then all these investments kind of gets futile effort been wasted per se. So neither the consumer gets what he's looking for, nor the organization gets the return from such kind of an investment. So the focus has to be pretty much solidifying the use case and getting the return very, very clearly articulated from that perspective.
So in your organization, have you done any innovation? Probably if you, as a technology leader, have you seen a transition or an innovation which probably few years down the line before pandemic, you would think that it's almost impossible, or maybe it is going to happen maybe in next decade? Has there been any transition?
Look, innovation is something which is going to look for a time beyond, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is not going to really look for or wait for a
I'm largely
disaster to
talking
happen.
about the process standpoint, or maybe a digital innovation.
Yeah, I mean, I think pandemic has given a boost to digital that we all have seen. And if I look for in the consumer durable industries, I mean, there are a lot of expectations that are coming in from the consumer's perspective, where everybody is looking for no-touch purchasing experiences. And that's where I think nowadays people are looking for in terms of what they can bring in and then manage that data more clearly.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Vandana, I'll come to you. You heard some of the sentiments and how things are shaping up. In your opinion, at Freshworks, I mean, how are you seeing the entire shift in customer demand for technology? And based on your interaction with the senior technology leaders, what trends do you see in customer buying behavior for digital technology and platform?
The things were different pre-pandemic, and the things are different during the pandemic, and the things are different now. We've seen a lot of acceleration that has happened in the adoption of the technology. While we overused some of these terminologies like experience, it has been mostly used for customer experience and very less thought over for employees. That's where I have seen when in my discussions with a lot of these technology leaders, they have now started asking questions around, hey, what can I do best for employee experience? Because we are undergoing this major phase of great resignation. We have to ensure that we are providing an amazing experience, not just to our external customers, but to our internal customers as well. Not just to the employees, but also to like who are the requesters, but also to the people who are resolvers. So from those standpoint, a lot of conversations and the thoughts have been come over, where a lot of people were thinking it's okay to have a ticketing platform which is on-prem. I mean, I did not have anything around on cloud. And all these systems around service management, operations management, asset management, they lived in silos. Today, the conversations are, how do I bring everything onto one platform to cater to the internal customers, and also to cater to the different business functions like HR, legal, procurement. This ticketing platform is not just a ticketing platform, but it's more of an engagement platform where most of these queries can be interrelated, can be automated, a workflow can be created, and it can be audited. It can also generate analytics around it and help making some of those meaningful conversations. So we have seen a lot of shift in the mindset that has come when we interact with some of these technologies across multiple industries. And how this has changed the entire buying processes, there's a lot of adoption of cloud even in this space now, not just from the CX perspective or not just for the critical business application perspective, but putting in more thoughts to keep the internal employees happy. It has accelerated the way things are, and the buying processes is also more like, what is the timeline? They have, like, we have started getting more questions around what are the timelines that will take to implement a particular project. Will it be like an entire 1-year project? What will be my time to value? What will be the return on investments? What is the ease of use? Will I be getting a consumer grade experience? Because today I'm not being compared as a business who's providing an experience, but I'm being compared to the other businesses who are providing amazing experience to my employees. So it's a complete shift and a change, and the conversations have upped the level now.
Thank you, Vandana. You rightly said the conversations have changed, and Gartner, in fact, I mentioned in the previous session as well, the total experience they talked about, the integration of different user experience, employee experience, and customer experience. So that's a big thing. Debanjanji, in your opinion, how the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and how they are helping? Do you think that organizations and are able to really make sense of too much data which is being generated, and how has your organization been able to come up with some great user experience?
Yeah, so thanks for that question. Very important, because everyone is talking about data.
Yeah.
You need to make sense of data. But I think there's a step before that, which is, do you have the right questions? And the question is the foundation of what the data can answer. And many times we have seen that the question is not clear. What are we trying to solve? So I'll go back a bit to what Anand was also mentioning. I mean, yeah, there is data, there is technology, and today technology is not a limitation. The options of technology solving a question there are too many options actually in how you get solved about it. So what we have also done, as I said, we revamped our data stack and we democratized data. And hence we were able to respond and accelerate data-related intelligent questions like next best action. If my sales guy goes to a retail outlet which brand he or she should be talking about, what he should be talking about. So what is the underlying algorithms for it? So those got structured in last 1.5 years. The only problem is that lead time to get to the right working answer was pretty high. It was almost a year before we were getting some accuracy levels, because not internal data, but you're also relying on external data, and the reliability of quality of data is a question sometimes. What actually triggers those decision points needs to be tested out. So it takes time, and then you have the whole test in the market, in the alpha beta test, and then you figure out what makes sense or not. So question by question, we have activated several use case by use case, including visibility, planogram, last 3 feet execution improvements, and that needs to scale up. And we have stood up a pool of data scientists across data engineering, MLOps, all the stuff, not only for India alone, but across the region. The problem that we see is that data is evolving. So there is a continuous effort that needs to be there in teaching and training your models. The quality of the data, has to be an effort consistently going into it. The other part that we see is that techies do not have the best domain knowledge. So is technology a limitation, or is the domain knowledge a limitation? Will it make sense for techies to develop it, or will it make sense for us to train the business people on technology, which is becoming easier to deliver the cases? And I think that is where we are trying to see a shift. That can this equation be reversed? Because technology is becoming commoditized and it's becoming simpler to use, right? People don't write code these days. All you need is concepts. And this is the kind of shift, and this is where we see, because biases, the decisions, dependence on data on this premium stack of people who are scarce commodity in the market, and these are all risks that for us, but yeah, we are trying to solve that.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to understand, Dhavalji, from you, with technology requirements and investments are continuously increasing at a rapid pace. How do you continuously address the need of business for providing tech platform, development, APIs, and delivering scale with security?
So I think now it's a given that people have tested the benefit of investing in technology. So if you as the custodian of technology in an organization are not going to solve for them, then they are not going to wait for you. They're going to just go ahead with it, and they'll find their ways and means of addressing it. So there needs, and again, this is my personal experience and opinion, that we need to look at investments and ROI in a more prudent manner. For example, what we do as a company is that we clearly look at the tech stack in 3 buckets. We say that, okay, this is foundational, this is more innovative, and this is a differentiator. So for foundational, if you're talking about, say, pharma quality, can you really look for a business case there? Can you really look for an ROI there? Because it's more a compliance and a regulatory matter. Do you have an option of not doing it is the question that you have to ask. And then whatever is the best available capability at cost available, you go ahead with that. That's the approach. The ROI question should be asked more sharply for the other 2 categories, in my opinion, where you would have limited resources to play with. So clearly you would want to set aside something for experimentation, and clearly you would want to set aside something for the scalability part. So you do POCs, you work in certain tested markets, or you can do an A/B kind of a testing and look at whether it is delivering the kind of benefit or not. Is it going to better the current processes, or is it going to change the current processes? So are you adopting a newer way of working? Not for the heck of adopting it, but is it really going to change the life of the person who runs the process? That's the question to be asked. And if technology can be an intervention to enable that, then it's worth investing in that technology. The second is clearly where you're looking at it from a scalability or long-term perspective, where you are saying that, okay, this is going to help me increasingly either gain revenue, reduce cost, or improve productivity. And my investment in this capability is going to diminish over a period of time, whereas my return is going to multiply. That's the category that you would want to be the most interested in, and that's where I think the world is moving to today with things like AI and ML, where, for example, you are talking about self-learning capabilities. Can you really identify correlation between seemingly unrelated data? And that's where I think possibly the business of the citizen development concept has not matured to a point. It needs expertise. It needs data scientists. I wouldn't say, at least our population has got to a point where you can leave it for them to do it. And the second way to look at it is that, okay, while it is good to impart that knowledge to the business people, it is we look at it to say that, okay, let the tech expertise lie with the tech experts, because they can then provide a domain agnostic or they can provide an individual opinion rather than being constrained by the thoughts of people who already are running the business and they've always seen the business running in a particular manner. So that's another way or an approach, nothing wrong or right about it, it's just about what works for you.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you very much. Avadutji, I would like to probably quickly, in the interest of time, that is talent a big issue while leveraging analytics, AI and ML? Do you see talent a big challenge, and how are you trying to address that?
Yes, indeed. I think talent limitation will always be there for you within the team, but it all depends. You should know, whether you want to build the talent or you want to hire the talent. That's one. Two, just to give an example about this area is we were trying to do a lot on the operation side, and where we initially started that let's do this with the help of the consultant and all, but we found our internal knowledge and the skill set both were limited, and we just shift gear. We said, who are those OEM whom we are working with it? Very clearly, we said, if we look at it, are all equipments put together, we have only very selected 3 or 4 OEMs. And then we went back and said that whether do they have the digital arm which is put by them, and do they have they explored, because the machines are same, they know their machines better, they know their parameters better. So this one of the trick worked, and we worked with them as a digital extension of ours. And then we just inherited what they have done 80% of our work, and then 20% is left with. So the point which I'm coming is, yes, there is a limitation with the skill set and the expertise which you have it, but at the same time there are avenues available. One is you extend working with your OEMs for operations. You also have today we also work with a model skin in the game, which also works out, and there are partners available to help you out. So you'll have to manage between the models which are available and choose the best model at that point of time for that particular scenario or the use case.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So similar question maybe to you also.
Just to add a point on that one, I mean, when you speak about talent and the real availability of that, when you actually go and look out for, you real see the problem that comes in, because many a times you get into situations, again, there is a price that you have to pay, and when you look for in terms of identifying the right talent, there are people that come across, whether you want to really hire them or whether you want to engage them as a partner. In both scenarios, claim versus reality. I mean, AI and ML is such an area, anyone and everyone can just claim that I've done it. But actually, when it comes up to the reality on the ground, that's where you realize that, like, how challenging it is.
And do you feel that the capabilities, like sir said, that whether building talent or probably gaining more competency through the new technological capabilities, that make more sense? I mean, if you are unable to find right talent, or maybe, yeah.
Yeah, building is an option, but it's a long drawn process. It is not like something that you can just do it in a week's training and then somebody is ready to really do a AI-based algorithms and come up with some kind of a good solution in that space. So that's like something that has to be built over a period of time with different scenarios, and something that actually you build with giving that experience to the talent that you already have in place.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your views. I request Vandana to sum up this session, and also maybe if you can share your thoughts on the importance of technology and platform to improve overall employee experience, especially considering working in hybrid workspace and moving more to the virtual world need a solid consistency.
I would rather toss this to the team here, and maybe I would rather toss this to the panelists. Maybe in one sentence, if they have to say on what is really important as a business leader, for them to to provide that or to talk about the experience. We spoke about the data analytics. We spoke about the AI and ML capabilities, how important it is. But maybe one sentence from the esteemed speakers here. Would be great.
Sure, sir. We can start from the bottom. One thing, could you please repeat your question?
Yeah, so in one statement, if you have to sum it up, what is important, or what is an importance of an employee experience to you, apart from what customer experience that we talk about? Business, we talk about two things, right? We talk about the customer experience for the business aspect. We talk about the employee experience, which is the internal bit. So in one sentence, if you have to say, what is it for you as a business leader important from looking at, or to what is important for you from an employee experience or a customer experience perspective?
I think from an employee perspective, it's about how do you simplify and bring things at the click of a button. So, I mean, that sums it up. Today we have tons of processes, and hence everyone is adopting various options of conversational AI or LCNC, etc. But make it easy for him, foolproof. We used to, when we were doing education, we used to have a book called For Dummies. So which means that you get tech done by non-techies. I think that's what we'll to call it up, and it will be self-explanatory, right?
Sure.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah, if I understand your question right, you're talking about the correlation between employee experience
Yes.
and customer experience. And I think one of the most used frameworks today is the balance scorecard. And the balance scorecard talks about the customer experience and the internal processes, or the employee experience, as you may want to call it. So clearly one has to be the derivative of the other. Your customer experience should drive the employee experience, and your KRAs have to be aligned to that. So your investments have to be in sync. For example, if you want to deliver a particular customer experience, the employees have to be empowered to be able to do, as they talk about, all the empowerment at the lowest level and things like those. So your people, process, technology, all has to align to it. It's of utmost importance, no doubt about that.
Thank you for that.
I think, yes, both are interrelated. We can link them with the mindset, skill set, and people set.
If I look at it from an employee experience perspective, I mean, simple one-liner that comes to my mind is that, like, say, did I enjoy doing this work? And when it comes up from a customer experience perspective, did I get the buck back, what I was looking for? I don't care whether it was on a technology or non-technology. So that's what the customer experience is all about.
Right, thank you so much. At Freshworks, we basically build a cloud-based platform helping IT, sales, and support to provide that experience, employee experience, and a customer experience. So that's why knowing your views were really important to put our thoughts on the right track. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much, and lovely hosting you. Looking forward to the next session. Yeah, thanks.